this is Abhay. This is the simplest video where I'll be explaining how you can self-host n8n on your local computer for completely free using Docker, and then using Cloudflare Tunnel how you can expose your n8n instance to the public internet. So all available applications on the public internet can communicate with your n8n server. So let's start. Before moving forward, let me explain why I have used Cloudflare Tunnel here to expose your n8n instance to the public internet. So if you install n8n using Docker on your local computer, the URL to access your n8n instance will be like this: http localhost:5678. So that means only you can access this URL on your local computer. If you want to access this anywhere else on any other computer or using any other application on the internet, this is not possible. And few applications like Google Apps, Telegram, and many more other applications on the internet requires a public available domain to connect with your n8n instance. And because of which we are using Cloudflare Tunnel here to expose your n8n instance to the public internet. Now that we have understood the concept, let's see what are the prerequisites. Here are only 4 common prerequisites. First is computer, second is a Docker desktop application, third is Cloudflare account, and fourth is a domain name. Except domain name, all other things are completely free. And if you want to know where and how you can buy domain names for cheap for n8n self-hosting, I have made a dedicated video on that. You can check the link in the description to view that particular video. Coming to the computer prerequisites, either it's Windows or either it's macOS, make sure you have 8GB plus RAM in your local computer. I'll recommend still a 16GB plus RAM for optimal performance and a 25GB plus storage available on your local computer. Once you have these prerequisites, let's start with the process. First thing here is downloading Docker Desktop. To download Docker Desktop, you can access the link in the description or visit the Docker website. Once visited, you have to click on Download Desktop button, and here you'll have to select your operating system and download this application. Once Docker Desktop is downloaded, you have to follow the step-by-step instructions in the installer, and once Docker Desktop is installed, you can continue with the process. I have followed the complete Docker Desktop installation process. Now this screen is in front of me. Here click Accept. Once accepted, you have to click on Finish. Here you will be prompted to enter your system password. Please make sure you enter your system password correctly. Then a screen like this will pop up in front of you. Here you will have to just click on Skip button. And once skipped, you have successfully installed the Docker Desktop on your computer. We have completed the step 1 from this document. If you want to download this document for step-by-step guide, you can check the link in the description. Now let's go to the step 2. For step 2, you can simply copy this command from here. Then open the Docker Desktop application. Click on Terminal. Click on Enable. And then simply paste this command here. Once this command is pasted, some random characters will appear in front of you. That means the command is successfully executed. Then you can simply close this window. And now to the next step in the document. That is pull the n8n image on your local computer. Now come back to your Docker application again. Click on Images. And then click on Search Images to run. Here type n8n io/n8n. And once searched, make sure you find out this 100 million plus downloaded image. And then click on the pull button. Once the image is downloaded in your computer, you have to click on the Start button. Here open the optional settings, type the container name as n8n, and type the host port as 5678, and then here you'll have to select some environment variables. I added the environment variables in the document. Here in the environment variable, make sure you replace yourdomain.com with your actual domain. Idea behind this is I have placed here n8n.yourdomain.com as a placeholder. So this will be your domain name where you'll be accessing n8n from. Suppose if you want to install n8n on your naked domain, you can just put it as yourdomain.com. Make sure it is your actual domain name that you have purchased or that you already have. If you already have a domain, then you can set up a subdomain and access n8n from it. You don't have to purchase a new domain completely for this. Now set up the environment variables. Important note, here in the environment variables, the value before the is equal to sign is the actual environment variable. Value after the is equal to sign is actual value. Here is the environment variables that I have copied from the document to the Docker Desktop application. And I have replaced n8n.yourdomain.com with my actual domain. Subdomain I am using here is n8nlocal.776556.xyz. I have set it up completely. Make sure you do not miss replacing your actual domain with n8n.yourdomain.com placeholder. Set up this environment variables, click on the Run button. Once the installation is complete, a URL like this will be appear here. Editor is now accessible via this particular URL. But we have not still configured Cloudflare and domain names. So to make sure the installation is successful, you have to go to the document again. Simply copy this URL and open it in your browser. And once you open localhost:5678 in your browser, n8n screen will appear like this. You will be prompted to set up an account on n8n. This is not an actual account on n8n cloud. Instead, this is an n8n account on your local device. Now it's time to connect the domain to your n8n instance. For connecting the domain, we'll be using Cloudflare. Cloudflare is completely free to use for this particular use case. You can go to cloudflare.com and simply set up a free account. Once you set up a free account, you will be prompted to enter a domain name. If you already have a domain name in your Cloudflare account, you are set. If you don't have, you can simply add a domain in your Cloudflare account. If you want to know the process how you can set up a domain on your Cloudflare account, you can check the video in the description. Once the domain is completely set up, you have to click on Zero Trust. You will be logged into Cloudflare Zero Trust dashboard. Here you'll have to click on Networks and then click on Tunnels. Then click on Create Tunnel button here. Select Cloudflare. You have to name your tunnel. I have named it as n8n local. Then select Docker from here. Once selected Docker, you can copy this command. This command is copied. Open your Docker desktop application and click on Terminal again. Enter this command. This command will take some time to download Cloudflare image to your local Docker desktop. Once that, simply revisit the containers window, and here will be seen two containers. First is n8n that we installed, and second with a random name that Cloudflare has automatically installed. Then move back to the Cloudflare dashboard again. Here in the connectors, make sure the status is connected. And click on the next button. Here is the part where you will be connecting your domain name with the n8n local instance. Please make sure to add the same domain or subdomain that you have added in n8n environment variables here. Simply enter the subdomain and domain name. If you don't want to use the subdomain, you can keep it blank, but make sure you map your domain name here. Here select the service type as HTTP, and in URL you have to type n8n:5678. Once this is done, you have to click on the next button. Once this is done, the setup in Cloudflare is complete. Make sure the tunnel we set up is in healthy state. Now the last few steps. You have to copy these commands from here. Then open the Docker desktop, open the terminal, and then paste the commands here that we copied from the document. Make sure in these two commands, you have to replace your n8n container name and replace your Cloudflare container name here. I replace the name here. I'll simply enter these commands. Once these commands are entered, make sure the n8n container as well as Cloudflare container is turned on. You can check it simply by checking the dots here. The green dot, that means the container is on, and this dot means the container is exited. I might have by mistake exited this container. I'll just restart this container. I have restarted this container. Now visit the Cloudflare dashboard, open the tunnel from here, click on Edit, click on Public Host Names, click the public host name that you set up, and click on this URL. Congratulations, your setup is complete here. Now you will be able to access n8n from a public available domain name. This will be the same n8n instance that you previously used to access using localhost:5678. Now that we have set up on our own domain name, let's set up the n8n account from here. I have entered my name, email address and password for this. Make sure you keep a strong and secret password for your n8n account. And once that is entered, you will be prompted with these questions. You can simply skip it. Make sure you grab your n8n community license. Here your email will be listed. Then click on Send me a free license key. It has sent me an email with the license key. To activate the license key in your email, you have to click on these three dots and then click to Settings. Here click on Enter Activation Key and then click on the Activate button. That's it. You can see that you are on Community Edition. And this is how you have installed n8n on your local computer. I have created a sample workflow, and within that sample workflow, I have used workflow as a trigger. And here in the workflow URL, you can see that the URL is with my actual domain. That is https n8nlocal.776.556.xyz. Because of which we have used the environment variables. Thank you for watching this video. If this video has helped you, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like this video. If you have any feedback, make sure you convey it with me in the comments. And if you want to know more about self-hosting n8n on a VPS web server, or compare multiple different lifetime free VPS web servers for n8n, you can check the link in the description. I have made a detailed playlist on my channel explaining each of the different topics for n8n self-hosting. Thank you for watching this video. Have a great day. Bye.